I don't know, America. You've got a guy here who bought a gun illegally, filled out the form illegally, committed perjury because he was a drug addict. He's mishandled the gun. He threw it away to try and conceal it. Then he had somebody go get it. He's on videotape waving it around. There's an individual over a 2-year period made $1.5 million. And during that 2-year period, didn't pay his federal income taxes, Mr. Producer. And then he catches up and pays them late because, well, they're on to him. And now they're going to hit him with misdemeanors. He's going to get pretrial detention agreement on the gun, the possession of a gun as a drug user, which simply means he's going to get off scot-free. He'll never do a minute of time in prison. They'll give him parole when they're done. 2 misdemeanors on taxes. I can't imagine anybody out there earning that kind of money, not paying their taxes, and being treated this way. And all this had to be signed off by the Department of Justice. This U.S. attorney, who was serving as special counsel for these purposes, from Wilmington, Delaware, he couldn't do this on his own. Remember, a special counsel reports to the Attorney General. The Attorney General recuses the Deputy Attorney General. So I want you to keep this in the forefront of your mind. At the very time that Merrick Garland and his Deputy Attorney General and all the rest of them over in that crap house were preparing to sign off on Donald Trump's indictments, throwing the book at him, even creating a book to throw at him. At the same time, they were trying to figure out how to go soft on Hunter Biden. And even more, they never stepped outside to look at the connections to the father. Apparently, they never even looked at the laptop. They never looked at anything, Mr. Producer. Now, you and I, as honest Americans, tax-paying Americans, hardworking Americans who believe in this country, it's getting harder and harder, isn't it? This is the latest example. But it's been going on a while now. If you've been awake, and we are, and watching the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, even before that, but especially now. And it's going to continue. The war against our justice system, the war against our immigration system, the war against people based on their race, the war on our economic system, the war on property rights. Who's responsible for this? Well, many people are, but I took a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. And there's one thread that connects it all: the Democrat Party. Whether you go back to slavery, whether you go back to the Civil War, you go back to, segregation, you go back to the Klan, you go back to lynching, you go back to efforts even in the past century, eugenics, segregation, Jim Crow. And then they flip to Marxism, CRT. The Democrat Party is central to all of it because the Democrat Party is the most dangerous, and disastrous political entity in America. It's got power. It's got size. It's ubiquitous throughout the culture. Television, newspapers. In fact, the media today are circling the wagons around Hunter Biden and the Bidens. These cases aren't usually prosecuted. The Department of Justice was very harsh because the media today are propagandists. They think you're stupid, but you're on to them. That's why you have nothing but contempt for people like Bill Barr, Chris Christie. Me too. Some of us were fooled by them. Never Chris Christie. But not anymore. Not again. The Democrat Party in America in many ways is like the Communist Party in China or the single-party system effectively in Russia or any other autocratic party. It wants one-party rule, seeks to destroy all competition. It insists on conformity. It pushes groupism over individualism. And it's reached a point in this country where we are losing it. As I like to say, we're not looking into the abyss. We're in the abyss, trying to claw our way out. Now, last year, this time, I thought to myself, how do we deal with this? People ask me all the time, what do we do? I'm not God. I don't have this kind of power. You might recall when you look at the Bible that Almighty God was defied from time to time. Was he not, Mr. Producer? Yes. He was defied from time to time. And the people suffered. Well, I'm not God. I'm just one mortal human being. But I can fight. I can push. Together we can lead. And that's what I'm trying to do. There are mortal human beings throughout our history who've made a difference. You can make a difference. The Democrat Party hates America. There's really no debate about this, except among them, but they're liars. They never have anything good to say about this country, ever. They've destroyed our justice system now. They've destroyed it. Every now and then we'll get a good ruling, but it's the exception, not the rule. And by good ruling, I mean just, fair, and legal. But the Democrat Party is poison. It's cancerous. Think about it this way. If the Democrat Party had its way and we didn't have a constitution, what do you think this country would look like today, Mr. Producer? It wouldn't look much different than any other horrendous totalitarian regime, would it? As the likes of Tlaib, Omar, Hakeem Jeffries, and others, the type that work at Mediocrite and Media Matters, claw their way to the top of the system and silence those, or worse, who don't agree with them. That's right, I said it because I mean it. Does it get any worse than arresting a former president of the United States? Charging him with a host of crimes? If he's convicted by a Democrat jury in a Democrat city, he will serve the rest of his life if he's sentenced. And he'll die in prison. A case brought less than 10 days ago that could have been brought after the election, even if you're going to bring a rogue case, but didn't. They didn't wait. And then whose son is treated with kid gloves like this? Sounds like Cuba. Sounds like Venezuela. Sounds like Iran. Sounds like communist China. Sounds like all these places, doesn't it? All right. Well, I think it's time. In fact, it's long past time to take off the gloves, take off the mittens, stop playing games, and to brutally and comprehensively confront them. That's the point of The Democrat Party Hates America. That's the point of the book. To spell it out in brutal detail. Not to regurgitate everything you already know. And it's meant for people who can't decide what's good and what's evil, which side to be on. It's meant for people who want to spread the word of liberty, who want to spread the word against tyranny. It's meant for people who want to know all about it. On Amazon, and in the book flap, the publisher wrote the following. In American Marxism, Mark Levin explained how Marxist ideology has invaded our society and culture. In doing so, he exposed the institutions, scholars, and activists leading the revolution. Now he picks up where he left off, to hold accountable the true malefactors, steering our country down the wrong path. They write, insightful and hard-hitting as ever, Levin proves that since its establishment, the Democrat Party has set out to rewrite history and destroy the foundation of freedom in America. More than a political party, it is the entity through which Marxism has installed its philosophy and its new revolution. As in a Thomas Paine pamphlet or a clarion call from Paul Revere, Levin alerts his fellow Americans to the destruction this country is facing, tries to rally them to defeat the threat in front of us, more looming than ever. He writes, every legal, legitimate, and appropriate tool and method must be employed in the short and long run to defeat the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party must be resoundingly conquered in the next election and every other election, and in every way possible, or it will become extremely difficult to undo the damage it is unleashing at breakneck speed. The Democrat Party hates America needs to be a mantra that we repeat over and over and over and over again, just like Marxism, which is now being repeated thanks to you. I've never written a book like this before. And I suspect when you get your copy, you will have never read a book like this before. We're going to jump into the news again with both feet. But you can pre-order your copy right now for the first time on Amazon.com. And be the first to receive the copy as soon as the book comes out. And it's timed on September 19th for a reason. To have as big of impact as possible on the legal issues that are going on in this country and on the election. We can use your help.